It was 6 o'clock a.m. in Southbridge. Rain slicked the cracked sidewalks. Streetlights flickered like they were tired of staying on. The air smelled like wet concrete and old coffee. A few construction workers huddled near a bus stop, steam rising from their cups, eyes heavy with the kind of exhaustion that doesn't go away after one good night's sleep. And then there was Marcus. Marcus Reed, 26 years old, tall, lean, dressed in a navy suit that had seen better days, faded at the elbows, tight at the shoulders but pressed clean and worn with care. He walked fast, tie straight, jaw clenched, hands stuffed into his coat pockets to keep them warm. His shoes clicked against the damp pavement, each step measured like he was counting them. This wasn't just another morning. This was the day. The job interview at Whitmore and Blake, one of the most powerful financial firms in Chicago, downtown. Glass towers, marble lobbies. Salaries that started with a 6 and ended with a 0. Everyone knew the unspoken rules. You had to come from the right schools, the right neighborhoods, the right kind of life. Marcus came from none of that. Southbridge Public School, no trust fund, no family connections. Just a perfect GPA from Chicago State. Years of late nights working part-time jobs, and a recommendation letter from a professor who actually read his work, not just his file. And today, he was going to prove he belonged. His phone buzzed. A text from his mom. "You got this, baby. Just be you." "I love you," he didn't reply. Just tucked the phone away, swallowed the lump in his throat, and kept walking. He could feel the stares, the ones from the men at the bus stop, not hostile, not exactly, but loaded. A young black man in a suit at this hour must be headed to court. He'd seen that look his whole life, doubt hiding behind silence. But today wasn't about what they thought. It was about what he knew. He checked his reflection in the dark window of a laundromat. Tired eyes, serious face. His mother always said he looked too serious, even as a kid. But today, that seriousness was armor. The silver cufflinks at his wrists, his grandfather's, passed down through his mom, caught the gray light. They didn't match the suit, but they meant something. They reminded him who he was. The train arrived at Monroe Station with a hiss. Marcus stepped off, portfolio under his arm, leather, worn, filled with months of work. Resumes, notes, research. Everything he'd built. Everything riding on 1 hour in a boardroom. He walked into the downtown rush, suits, briefcases, heels clicking, people moving like they had somewhere important to be. And then the sky changed. Clouds rolled in fast, thick, dark, angry. A gust of wind nearly ripped the portfolio from his grip. Then the rain came. Not a drizzle, not a sprinkle, a downpour, cold, heavy, relentless. In seconds, the city turned into chaos. Umbrellas flipped inside out. Cars slowed to a crawl. People scattered for cover. Marcus ducked under a bakery awning, heart pounding. He pulled out his phone. No rides, no taxis, nothing. The storm had shut everything down. He checked his watch. 8:31 a.m. Interview at 9 o'clock sharp, still possible, if the rain let up. But it didn't. It got worse. Water flooded the gutters. Trash blew down the street. A man slipped, cursing, his briefcase sliding into a river of runoff. Marcus zipped the portfolio inside his coat, pulled his collar up, and stepped back into the storm. He wasn't giving up. This wasn't just a job. It was proof. Proof that no matter where you started, you could climb. That hard work meant something. That a kid from Southbridge could walk into a tower of glass and marble and belong. He sprinted toward a yellow cab pulling up to the curb. But just as he reached it, a man in a camel coat shoved past him and jumped in. Door slammed. Tires screeched. Gone. Marcus stood frozen in the rain, fists clenched, breath sharp. He wasn't naive. He knew how this city worked, who got the cab, who got the benefit of the doubt, who got seen and who got ignored. But he kept going, legs burning, shirt soaked, tie heavy with water. Then he saw it. A sleek black car parked crooked on the side of the road. One tire flat, trunk open, spare tire half out. And beside it, an old man struggling with a jack, rain pouring down on his wrinkled suit, his hands shaking as the tools slipped on the wet asphalt. No one stopped. Pedestrians hurried past, eyes down, pretending not to see. Marcus slowed. His mind raced. The interview. You're already late. Your clothes are ruined. Your chance is slipping away. A voice in his head said, "Walk away. Someone else will help." But another voice, softer, deeper, rose from somewhere inside. His mother's voice. "You don't help people when it's convenient, Marcus. You help them because that's who you are. That's what separates a man from just another face in the crowd." He didn't hesitate. He crossed the street, splashing through flooded curbs, and called out, "Screw it, sir. Let me help you with that." The old man looked up, surprised. "I thought I had it," he said, voice thin. "But this jack, the ground's uneven." Marcus set his portfolio in the back seat, shrugged off his soaked jacket, and knelt in the rain. He knew what he was doing. Summers working in his uncle's auto shop, changing tires on rusted trucks, learning how things worked when no one was watching. His hands moved fast, adjusted the jack, tightened the bolts, finished clean. The old man straightened, offering a hand. "What's your name, son?" "Marcus. Marcus Raid." The man's eyes flickered, just for a second, like the name meant something. "You headed somewhere important?" he asked. Marcus wiped grease and rain from his hands. Looked toward the skyline. "Yeah," he said, "the most important place I've ever gone." The old man nodded slowly. Then he said, "Get in. I'll drive you." Marcus hesitated. "I can't ask you to do that." "You already helped me," the man said. "Now let me help you." They got in the car. And as the engine purred to life, Marcus stared out the window, heart pounding, not just from the storm, but from the quiet feeling that something had just changed, even if he didn't know it yet. The black sedan glided through the flooded streets, windshield wipers slicing through the rain, the city blurring past like a dream half remembered. Marcus sat stiff in the passenger seat, hands clasped over his damp portfolio, eyes fixed on the towering glass building ahead. Whitmore and Blake. It rose into the low-hanging clouds like it didn't belong to the same world as the soaked sidewalks and struggling commuters, shimmering, untouchable. His reflection stared back at him in the car window, hair flattened, shirt clinging, jacket ruined. He barely recognized himself. "You sure you still want to go in there looking like that?" the old man asked, voice calm, not mocking, not pitying, just real. Marcus swallowed, jaw tight. "I have to try." The man nodded once, said nothing more. The car stopped at the curb. Marcus opened the door, bracing for the cold slap of rain, but the storm had eased. The worst was over. Puddles stretched across the sidewalk, reflecting the marble steps like broken mirrors. He stepped out, shoes squelched with every step, jacket heavy, tie twisted, hair dripping. Inside, the lobby was another planet, warm, silent, perfect. Marble floors so clean they looked wet even when they weren't. High ceilings, soft lighting, a faint scent of flowers and money in the air. Everything designed to make you feel small before you even spoke. Marcus hesitated at the glass doors, aware of every drop of water falling from his clothes onto the polished floor. A man in a designer coat glanced at him, just a flicker of the eyes, but enough to say, "You don't belong here." A receptionist whispered to a coworker, smirked. Marcus ignored it. He walked to the security desk. The guard looked up, saw him, felt the weight of his appearance before he heard a single word. "Good morning," Marcus said, forcing his voice steady. "My name's Marcus Reed. I have a 9 o'clock interview with Whitmore and Blake's finance division." The guard tapped his tablet, scrolled, paused. "Yes, Mr. Reed, finance team, 14th floor." He looked up. "They're strict about timing." Marcus nodded. "I understand." No explanation, no excuse. The storm, the flat tire, the cab that wasn't his. None of it mattered now. The guard gestured toward the elevators. "You can try. No promises." Marcus walked across the lobby, each soggy step echoing like a mistake. His reflection in the elevator doors showed a man who had fought hard and lost. Shirt stuck to his chest, collar limp, pants stained. Tie looked like it had given up. The elevator dinged, doors opened. 14th floor, dark wood, frosted glass, cityscape photos on the walls. A receptionist in a sleek gray blazer typed at her desk. She looked up, saw him. Surprise, then a mask of professionalism. "Good morning," Marcus said, clearing his throat. "I'm Marcus Reed. I had a 9 o'clock interview." She checked the clock. 9:18. Her eyes softened just a little, but her voice stayed firm. "I'm sorry, Mr. Reed. That was with Mr. Calloway. He's moved on to the next candidates. Tight schedule." Marcus's stomach dropped. He knew this was coming, but hearing it, feeling the finality in her tone, it hit like a punch. "I know I'm late," he said. "The storm, I tried to get here. There was an elderly man with a flat tire. I couldn't just walk past." She lifted a hand gently. "Mr. Reed, I understand, but Mr. Calloway." She didn't finish, didn't need to, no exceptions, no second chances, not here. Marcus swallowed. "Could you at least tell him I came, that I tried?" He opened the portfolio, pulled out a resume, edges warped, ink smudged, but still readable. She took it, nodded. "I'll make sure he gets this." Their eyes met, hers calm, his raw, then it was over. Marcus turned, walked back to the elevator, shoes squishing, shoulders heavy. The doors closed. The ride down was silent, too quiet. When he stepped back into the lobby, the sun was breaking through the clouds. Light danced on the wet pavement. He paused at the glass doors, stared out. Cars honked, people rushed. Life moved on. No one saw the young man standing there, soaked and silent, carrying disappointment like a second skin. He didn't cry, didn't yell, just walked out, back to Southbridge, back to the apartment with peeling paint and an old radiator that clanked all night. He sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, resume glowing on the screen, fingers frozen. The portfolio sat beside him, dried as best he could, but still warped, still stained, like a scar. His suit jacket hung from a nail on the wall, water stains like ghosts on the fabric. His phone buzzed. Mom's face on the screen. He hadn't told her, not yet. She'd been so proud. Had sent his grandfather's cufflinks in tissue paper, still smelling like her lavender soap. He answered. "Hey, Ma. Baby, I've been thinking about you all morning. Any news? Did you hear back from that big shot company?" His throat tightened. Before he could answer, another call. Unknown number. Chicago area code. "Ma, I gotta take this. Could be about a job." "Of course, honey. Go get it." He switched lines. Nerves coiled in his chest. "Hello, Mr. Reed. This is Natalie Quinn, executive assistant to Mr. Richard Whitmore. I'm calling to invite you to a meeting this afternoon at 2 o'clock if you're available." Marcus froze. Whitmore, as in the Whitmore, the CEO. "Wait, I'm sorry, did you say Mr. Whitmore?" "Yes, sir. The meeting will be on the executive floor, 82nd level. Would you like directions?" His heart pounded. This couldn't be real, a courtesy, a rejection wrapped in formality. But her voice, calm, professional, didn't sound like pity. "No," he said, "I know where it is." "Excellent. We look forward to seeing you, Mr. Reed. Click. Silence. Marcus sat there, phone in hand, breath shallow. Then he stood, fast, snatched the jacket from the wall, ran his fingers over the stains. This time it wouldn't be rain. No flooded streets, no missed chances. He pressed the suit, polished the shoes until they shone. Buffed away the memory of that lobby. At 1:17 p.m., a yellow cab pulled up to Whitmore and Blake. Sky was clear now, air crisp, sidewalks drying. Marcus stepped out, adjusted his tie, looked up. The tower didn't seem so tall this time, still powerful, still intimidating. But today he wasn't chasing it. Today he'd been invited. The lobby felt different, same marble, same silence. But the guard barely looked up before scanning his name and handing over a black badge with a gold emblem. Executive access, he said. No judgment, just protocol. Marcus walked to the elevator, badge cool in his hand, heart steady, doors closed, numbers climbed. 82 floors. When they opened, the world changed again. Floor-to-ceiling windows, sunlight pouring in. Art on the walls that probably cost more than his entire block. Natalie Quinn approached, same voice, same calm confidence. Mr. Reed, we spoke earlier, he nodded. We did. Mr. Whitmore will see you shortly. Water? Yes, thank you, she returned with a crystal glass, untouched, gleaming. Make yourself comfortable, he sat, glass in hand. Eyes on the double doors at the end of the hall. He didn't know why he was here, didn't know what waited. But for the first time in days, something rose in his chest. Not hope, not yet, cautious hope. Then the doors clicked open. Natalie stepped aside. Mr. Whitmore will see you now. Marcus stood, badge against his chest, portfolio in hand. He stepped forward, each stride steady. The office wasn't what he expected, not fleshy, not loud. Large, yes, but quiet, understated. Floor-to-ceiling windows, Chicago sprawled below, furniture sleek, dark wood, leather, marble. A man stood at the window, back turned. Then the chair turned, and Marcus saw him. Silver hair, sharp eyes. The same man from the rain. The one with the flat tire. The one he'd helped. But here he wasn't struggling. He was powerful. Richard Whitmore stood, walked around the desk, extended his hand. Mr. Reed, good to see you again. Marcus shook it, voice low. I didn't realize. Richard smiled. Out there on the street. I didn't know I was the man who signed your interview invitation. That's exactly why it mattered. Marcus blinked. I thought I missed the interview. I thought that was it. Richard gestured to the chair. Sit, Marcus. Marcus sat. Richard moved to the window. 58 years ago, I stood in a factory outside Pittsburgh. Cheap suit, nervous, out of my depth. I asked a man 3 times my age to believe in an idea I could barely explain. He said yes, changed my life. This company doesn't exist without that moment. He turned, looked at Marcus, then opened a drawer, pulled out the leather portfolio, rain-stained, warped, pages curled. You left this in my car, he said. I took the liberty of reading it. Marcus swallowed. Richard flipped through. Your market analysis on Southeast Asia sharp. Your cover letter honest, personal, rare. He looked up. But none of that's why you're here. Marcus tensed. Richard shook his head. I've been hiring people for decades. I can't teach finance. I can train someone to read a balance sheet, build a portfolio, but I can't teach character. The word hung in the air, heavy, real. Most people in your shoes that morning would have kept walking. I wouldn't have blamed them. You didn't. He leaned forward. You stopped. You helped, not because cameras were rolling, not because someone was watching, but because it was the right thing to do. He sat back. I've built this company on decisions made in quiet moments when no one's watching. That morning you showed me everything I needed to know. Marcus's throat tightened. Pride, disbelief, a quiet ache of being seen. I appreciate that, sir, more than I can say. Richard's eyes softened. I'm not offering you an analyst position, Marcus, not the entry-level spot you came for. Marcus's heart dropped, but Richard wasn't done. I'm offering you something else. He leaned in. You'll work directly with me, special assistant. You'll sit in rooms most people spend a decade trying to reach. You'll listen, learn, observe. It won't be easy. It won't always be comfortable. But you'll leave with a foundation no classroom can give. Marcus stared. The offer settled in his chest, solid, real, bigger than he'd ever dreamed. Why me? He asked, voice quiet, raw. Richard smiled. Because someone once believed in me before I deserved it, and it changed everything. He extended his hand again. Marcus reached out, not as the soaked, late, desperate kid from Southbridge, but as someone chosen, respected, seen. The storm hadn't taken his chance. It had revealed it. And for the first time in his life, Marcus Raid walked into his future, knowing he hadn't just been lucky. He'd earned it. Marcus left the 82nd floor with the city spread out beneath him, not as a dream anymore, but as a place he now belonged in. The sun poured through the windows, warm on his face. His steps were different, not rushed, not desperate, certain. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. That leather portfolio, stained, warped, still carrying the weight of rain and doubt, now sat in Mr. Whitmore's office. Not discarded. Not forgotten, respected, because it wasn't just filled with research and resumes. It carried something deeper, proof of who Marcus was when no one was watching, and that was worth more than any perfect suit or polished resume. He rode the elevator down, not with his head down, but lifted. The same marble lobby that once made him feel like an outsider now felt like a threshold he had earned the right to cross. Outside, the city was drying. The storm had passed. The streets glistened, washed clean. And so was he. Not because the rain had ruined his clothes, but because it had revealed his character. Because when faced with a choice, his future or a stranger in need, he didn't hesitate. He helped. And in that single act, he passed a test no job description could ever list. No one had to tell him that moment mattered. He felt it. In the firm handshake of a CEO who'd been where he was. In the quiet pride in his mother's voice when he finally called her back. In the way his reflection in the subway window didn't look defeated anymore, but determined. This wasn't just a job offer. It was recognition. Not for where he came from, not for how he dressed, but for what he did when it cost him something. Because real integrity isn't loud. It doesn't wear a title. It shows up in the small moments, soaked shoes, ticking clocks, a flat tire on a rainy morning, and asks one simple question. Will you do the right thing even if no one sees? Marcus did, and the world noticed, not because he begged for a chance, but because he proved he deserved one. And that's the truth no storm can wash away. So here's the question for you right now, wherever you are. When was the last time you did the right thing, even when it cost you? Not because you'd get rewarded, not because someone was watching, but because that's who you are. Because that's what separates going through the motions from actually mattering. If this story hit something deep, if it reminded you that your choices mean something, even when they feel small, then don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, not for the algorithm, but as a signal that stories like this still matter. Subscribe because every week we share real moments like this. No fluff, no hype, just truth that sticks. And turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story that might just change the way you see your own life. Because sometimes the smallest act of kindness isn't just the right thing to do. It's the first step toward everything you've been working for, and your next storm. It might not be an ending. It might be the moment everything changes, just like it did for Marcus. Thanks for watching. Stay human, and keep doing the right thing even when it's hard. We'll see you in the next one.